remember we were walking on this trail, hiking trail, and as often happens, we get up to the top of the trail, and then we see other people that are there, and they're sitting down, and we get there, and you arrive at the top, and it's the most beautiful sight. You get to this pinnacle of the hike, and it's like God's canvas of the most beautiful masterpiece. The greatest artist in the world has just dropped in front of you, and you're just in awe. And I remember we sat there, just sat down literally, and took it all in. And we sat there and we just didn't want to move. We didn't want to leave. I mean, the weather was perfect. The view was incredible. And it was like a perfect moment where the impact of the moment, given the surroundings, just continued to unfold. We just didn't want to leave. We were on a trail in Colorado, in the mountains, and we were there for a pastor's and pastor's wife conference a couple years ago, and it was just one of those moments. I was there with my favorite person, and we found that incredible scene, and just to be able to sit there and take it all in was incredible. The interesting thing is, I think the people that live there around that area, they probably don't stop and take it all in. They probably don't go up there to that spot and sit and just kind of, every day and take it all in the way that we did that day. But I think the reason is it becomes normal to them. It becomes usual. It's like something that they can pass by in an instant because they pass by it maybe so often. I think this happens a lot to us in the church and with our God and His Word, the way that He works, the beauty of His grace and the gospel. We hear about it. I mean, maybe every Sunday, or maybe others of us actually spend time in His Word every day, and we do that, but we just pass by it so quickly, and it doesn't cause us to pause. It doesn't give us a shock anymore because we're locals amidst that context. And I wonder if this isn't one of the biggest issues that exists within the church or Christianity. I mean, you look around what we're seeing right now as we look at just some horrible things that are going on in our world and in our culture, and you notice the horrible things that are going on as well, even within those who call themselves Christians, those who call themselves believers in Jesus. And you have to ask yourself, have they stopped and sat at the feet of the beauty of Jesus? Have they come to a place in life where that canvas, that masterpiece has been placed in front of them and taken their breath away, and taken them to a place that where they don't want to go anywhere else. They don't want to do anything. They just want to take it in. They want to savor it because they see the beauty in it. You see, I think that's what David was trying to get us to realize when he wrote those songs we call psalms. When he wrote that music, and he would get to a place where he would put that Selah in. I think he did that because he knew that those songs could be sung over and over again. Those words, they could be read over and over again, and they could become old news. The beauty of them could be old, and it could no longer become something that we felt the beauty or the enormity of our God in. Not much different than even for us here in Katy, Texas, this area that I'm in with these trees and around me and greenery. It's beautiful. It's no mountain hike, but it's beautiful all the same. And sometimes I can drive my car into this parking lot and I can pull up into a parking place and I can just park. And the first couple of times, the first few weeks when I did that, it took my breath away every time. But now sometimes I can come in and I can park and I can walk inside without thinking twice about it. Selah, it's that moment where we stop and we feel the enormity of our God, what He has done, what He is doing. Where we take His truth and His presence, and we don't just read it and go on about our day, or we don't just read it and move on with life as if we just checked a box off, but we sit there for a moment like we arrived at the peak of this mountain, and amidst the tension of life that builds up, like the choir that David was writing those words to sing, the tension builds up, and then all of a sudden at that end, he says, though the mountains give way, tension rises. But the psalm, as it brings this resolution of beauty, we should not fear. He says, sit there, Selah, rest, listen, feel the impact of it. That should never grow old. The truth and the beauty of the gospel and our God's word should never grow old. And I think we as the church, global church, Big C church, if we would not see our God's move and work and word as something that we can pass by, as a box to check, but rather a beautiful masterpiece of unimaginable grace that we sit in awe of on a daily basis, not only does it change our lives, but it changes our culture. And there's no greater time than today to see how desperately that we need a change amidst our culture. Selah. Take a moment. And feel the impact of the beauty of the grace of our God today.